Though I skipped the trip last year, this summer I'm returning to Alaska. I need to take care of business and try and tie up some loose ends. It's hard to leave the studio, to lose track of what I'm doing, though I really want to go back. I know I'm so lucky to have 1213, this oasis of wild nature, but it's in an urban, suburban wasteland. It's hard for me to stay here. And I've always traveled with the seasons. Now it's mid-July, and it's time to fly. My old friend Mark meets me at the airport, and we go to his shop, Catchmack Cooperage. I'm so glad to be back where I belong, where individuality is normal, not strange. And nature is close. First thing I notice is the air smells clean. A magpie that Mark rescued dropped by for a visit while I'm there. It's great to be in a shop, to feel the energies of craft and art combining, the sight and the sound and the smell, and seeing production when I've been so frustrated for months. And I immediately run into my Alaska history. I used Mark's shop years ago to build acoustic dulcimers. These hammers I'm using still are from a dozen that I rough cut here back then. Mark calls up a friend and she brings over a dulcimer that I built for him. Mark was into building with all native woods, so he tried using a huge slab of spruce for the back and birch for the rest, except for the maple pin blocks. And you know, it worked. It has stood the test of time by not warping. So I tuned it up and I played it. Feels so strange, you know, I'm so used to what I play now, of course. But the coolest thing here was this Fender Rhodes bass piano one of his partners had. He asked me if I could make it work, and I got right into it. It fit in exactly with what I'm doing. It uses tuned metal bars for tone and sustain, but the hammer actually strikes a stiff wire attached to the metal bar that vibrates by a single magnet and coil arrangement. This is just like what I imagined making for the dulcimer, though I made the standard single-coil pickups first because I knew they'd work. It's the electronics side of the electric dulcimer that I'm experimenting and developing. I've always dreamed of building new dulcimer-derived instruments, getting my tones from other things than strings, but still hammered in a dulcimer layout. Even better, it came with this vintage amplifier. So I make it all work once again, and then I jam. I wished I could have bought it, but truth is, I have no money. What I really want to do is plug the dulcimer into that amplifier. I've brought the pickups to Alaska for the first time, just to show my friends. I could never bring them before because they're too fragile and I only had one set. I had to actually cut the wires to remove the pickups from the dulcimer so it'd fit in the flight case, because the wires were run inside the dulcimer. So, first thing is I solder the pickups back together, but this time as one unit that I can take on and off the dulcimer as I travel. It sounds great. So I jam while the guys work. Though later I can help clean up and sweep up. Right now, there's not much for me to do, so I just try and stay out of the way and I play. Then it's an 11-hour bus ride up to Delta Junction. Dave picks me up, and soon I'm at my land, getting the truck started and unpacking my food and gear from my storage unit. I keep everything I need here, so I don't have to travel with much but the dulcimer and electronics and some notebooks. It's not long, and I'm over at Dave's to see the new dogs and get out the dulcimer again. It's funny, while I waited for Dave at the supermarket, someone recognized me, asked me to show the dulcimer to their friends, so I did and played there by the doors to the supermarket and sold 2 CDs. You know, I did the same thing in Toke when the bus stopped for a lunch break. And now, here I am playing for Dave's friends. too. From digging the foundation and pouring the concrete to putting the roof on, I've helped to build this house. This is real Alaska. Dave's rigged up a broken karaoke machine he got from the trash for an amplifier. And I'm an Alaskan musician who can kill mosquitoes without missing a beat. Still, it's strange. Like Sienna, several of the older dogs I've known since they were puppies have died while I was gone, and one old friend. But life goes on. There's new generations of dogs, new puppies. I had to clear a squirrel's nest out of my little cabin, but I wake up at my homestead, spend the day cleaning the cases and inventorying my food and packing up the truck. There's a storm rolling in with rain, but I'm ready to go. Just a few things left and I can hit the road. I leave late that night on the 100-mile drive to the State Fair in Fairbanks. The fair no longer offers any hospitality, so I have to sleep by the road, and I don't get much. I just have to believe that the fair got what they deserved, an artist appearing without enough sleep, burned out, and not very happy. Though I came and played because I felt I had to, I didn't feel too good about it. That's a hard laugh at the bitter truth. Well, hello everybody and welcome to the fair. Playing out my heart and soul for another place that treats me like dirt. So it goes. I can't begin to explain all the emotions and feelings that went through me here. I'm tired, cold, nothing to eat but coffee, and I still jam. My single swim, and the water is wide open, I can't pass over, for I have no wings, and still I love the music and the people who I play for, so I live the life it gives me. Being satisfied with it, doing what's right, doesn't always make you happy. But in the middle of a song, life is perfect. So fine. I've played here since 1993. I used to feel at home, welcome, and appreciated and treated well, even though they couldn't pay much. Now I don't. There's no hospitality, and they only pay a pittance now. $25 for a show. Not even enough for gas money. Drags me by the hand, say, come on, don't you see? Well, there's still room for you and me, Captain Brave and fearless crew. Yet it is still so good to see my old friends. This was always one of my big reasons for being here, to do one big show in Alaska where I could meet people and they could see me. Everyone is surprised I'm only playing 2 shows one day. I used to play the main stage every day. Then I'd set up for the rest of the day under the gazebo, showing people the dulcimer, jamming and signing CDs and visiting. Being a presence at the fair, really. Now I had to tell folks that I really had no plans to come back. Though I'll play other fairs, other places. It won't be the same, though in some ways, well, a fair is a fair. I spend another day in Fairbanks buying supplies for the trip up north. I'm actually able to look up another old friend from the Virginia mountains back in the 70s. Now we go to his cabin outside Fairbanks, drinking wine and talking about boats and cabins and travel plans till late. The last thing I do as I head north in the morning is pull off before I leave cell phone range for another month and call Dad from the roadside. No answer, so I leave a message saying I'm heading into the wilderness, and I roll north.